what do I do at Renegade? What does Scott Gata do at Renegade? So I have the best job at Renegade because I get to do a little of everything. So from things like product development, I get to get involved in product development or sometimes initiate the product development because I have an idea to go chase down a license and see if Hasbro will let us make Power Rangers games or G.I. Joe games or My Little Pony or Transformers, and go knocking on their door and say, this is what I want to do. So before I go to them and say, this is what I want to do, I might put together a proposal to show them what I want to do and illustrate what I think we can do and what we can do to add value and bring fun games to those communities. So I get to do that. And then if I'm successful doing that, I get to work with all the internal teams at Renegade to make those things a success. So for example, I work with Dan Bojanowski or Jimmy or Matt Hyra in R&D to come up with the actual detailed concepts for what we're going to do and how those games are going to play and what kind of experience we're going to provide to gamers. Or Kevin and I get together and we say, what are we going to do with the role-playing games? And what kind of books do we want to put out? And what kind of themes do we want to lean into? And then we get to go beyond that. We get to work with writers and artists and editors and graphic designers. And all those people get to contribute. So I have the best job because I get to touch all of that stuff and get to work with everybody. So on the product development side, that's probably the best thing and one of the most fun things that I do here. But then I get to do lots of other things too. So what is Renegade going to look like in 2025? That's my job. What do I think we're going to be working on? What other brands maybe do we want to bring in? What new product lines do we want to offer to our fans? What new game types do we want to branch out into? When we first started Renegade, we were doing, more traditional kind of family light strategy board games. And then a few years later, we were doing games with miniatures. We did Heroes of the Grid for Power Rangers, and that was our first major game with figures. We did some small stuff on the side, and of course, lots of things with meeples and wood and things like that. But then we said we were going to do 3D sculpts and we're going to do, characters in action poses. And that grew and became Heroes of the Grid. And then at one point we weren't doing RPGs. And then all of a sudden we were doing RPGs because World of Darkness came around and I love RPGs. And they said, hey, are you interested in doing role-playing games? And we said, yes, we are. We would love to do role-playing games with Paradox and World of Darkness 5th edition, and then all of a sudden we are now the publisher for World of Darkness Vampire, and Hunter just came out, and very soon Werewolf will be coming out. We haven't told you when yet. Stay tuned, you'll learn shortly. So all sorts of things. So what is Renegade going to look like in the future? What are we working on now? I get to be involved in all of that. Another really satisfying thing that I get to do is work on the development of our team. So it's not just our products and what we make, but it's our team developing their skill set and becoming better and better and better at what they do. We have some people at Renegade that are extremely experienced. They've been working in tabletop games for 20 plus years. And then we have people that are maybe just a year or two into their careers and they're just starting out, and that's really satisfying too. So I get to work either directly or through other team leads within the company at developing their skills so they can grow and learn and become better at what they do and make amazing games for all of our fans. I do a bunch of other boring stuff too, like money and finance and things like that too. That's not as fun. Those are the fun things that I get to do at Renegade Games every day. And hopefully that work is paying off and all of you are out there having fun with our games and we're doing a good job.
Are we live?
I think we
I
might be
think
live.
I think we might be live. Hello, welcome to Renegade Con 2023. I'm Scott Gata. I'm the president and publisher here at Renegade Game Studios, and joining me today is the ineffable Sara Erickson.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. Oh, this is so much fun. We have so many exciting things to share with people today.
We do. We have a long, long list, and we don't have a lot of time to do it. It's kind of like Smokey and the Bandit, a long way to go, short time to get there. So we need to get started. We need to jump right in. There's lots of stuff going on this weekend. Just to give you a quick overview of how this works, we have many, many people joining us that this might be their first Renegade Con online. So the Just Wait panel is where we reveal things, tell you about new stuff coming out, new releases, maybe some happenings, things like that going on, maybe some info about Gen Con. But then we're going to redirect you to specific streams that will focus on like Axis and Allies and Transformers and G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and Renegade Originals and all sorts of good stuff, where the brand teams on those lines will give you a little bit deeper dive and go into more detail on those. If you can't watch everything live, don't worry about it. This is on YouTube. Once we're done with our stream, the video will be up on YouTube for you to watch whenever you want. So you don't have to watch live, but we appreciate there's over 200 people right now watching. We appreciate all of you that are here in the comments. We're going to try to get into the comments a little bit as we go, but I guess let's get started. Did I miss anything, Sara, before we start talking about the first brand?
So there are a couple other really exciting things for anybody who's watching. In those reveal streams that are going to happen after this one for the rest of the weekend, we're going to be doing giveaways this time, which is a new thing that we're adding just for this Renegade Con. So if you want to stick around for those, we have some fun little extras in there as well. And then also, we have so many things in this stream to talk about. It's actually just too much stuff. And so we decided that the best thing to do would be to talk about everything that's coming out for the first half of the year in this stream. And then we're going to do another special event that is happening on March 1st to share with you a bunch of other fun stuff that's coming out for Gen Con. So don't worry if there's stuff that you thought we were going to talk about and maybe you were excited that you wanted to hear about. We're going to tell you lots of really cool things. And then you only have to wait 1 month before you hear even more cool things. So stick around for that as well. We'll give you all the details at the end. But yeah, let's get started. I want to talk about some Axis and Allies.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, there's so much stuff. We almost too much value. Couldn't fit it into one stream.
That's right.
So yeah. Axis and Allies. So a really quick recap for Axis and Allies. Tell us what's available now, Sara, just in case some people don't know what's going on with the current lineup.
Yeah, so right now there's Axis and Allies 1941, which is a really good place to start. If you haven't ever played Axis and Allies, I would recommend starting there. It's a really good taste of what the system has to offer. Then there's also 1942, which is a little bit beefier. But then if you really want to play a big, long, like full day game, we've got 1940 Pacific and 1940 Europe, which you can actually play together, combine them all as one huge game. So those things are available right now. You can go and find those in the world. They've existed for a while, but we're actually reprinting all of those, and our reprints of those are coming out later this year, this summer, actually. So anything you want to tell us about the reprints?
I mean, so the reprints, right, are we're basically just keeping those in print. So those 4 titles are the core titles that will always be available. Our intent is that those are never not available. We made maybe a couple little tweaks here and there. If there was any errata and things like that that weren't in the most recent editions, we've been sure to update the rule books and that sort of thing. But they're basically the second edition games that everybody knows and loves. Now, moving forward, we have a few new things to talk about. So the first thing that we want to talk about is we're going to go back to the existing catalog of Axis and Allies games. And part of our plan is about once a year, we're going to release an older title as a limited edition. It's not going to be super limited, but we're not going to keep it in print forever either. So that's the plan. And we also already picked the first one, and it's already actually in production now at the factory. It's will be on its way, and we'll be releasing it this summer. You will be able to pick it up at Gen Con, I believe, or I think maybe even get it a little before that, maybe in your store, depending on how shipping times work out. But it's in production now. So without further ado, we want to tell everybody the first Axis and Allies title that we're bringing back from the old catalog, and it'll be the first limited edition, is a new printing of Axis and Allies 1914. This is a phenomenal game based around, of course, World War I, 1914. There's a lot of demand for this game. A lot of fans have been trying to get a copy. It's very expensive on the secondary market, so we wanted to get that out there and in fans' hands at a more reasonable price. So much. Now, Dan Bojanowski will go into more details during his panel, but this new 1914 printing is essentially the same game. It's not a second edition, but we did make some quality of life improvements. We've taken errata and feedback from our experts and, did some tweaking to the components and things like that. So it's going to be a better, more fine-tuned experience, but it's essentially the same game. That is available for pre-order now. You can actually go to our website, you can pre-order it, you get free shipping, and it will be just delivered to your door when it arrives sometime in early to midsummer. So that's very, very exciting. In the future, we're going to allow the community to give us feedback on which other of the older games that we decide to reprint and bring back as limited editions.
And we are really excited about the community as part of our Axis and Allies lineup. We not only want to reprint these great classic games, but we want to know what things do the community, what does the community want to see? And so part of that is that we'll actually be collecting a survey from anyone who wants to fill it out to find out what you want the next battle to be. So if you're excited about that, you can fill out that survey starting at the Axis and Allies stream, which is right after this one. We'll give you all the details, and you'll get to be part of our decision making for future games and future new things, future reprints, all of it. And we also have this thing called the Officers Club, where you can go and be part of our community. You can ask questions. It's a Facebook group where you can find out other people who are playing, post battle reports. It's really just everything you would want Axis and Allies all in one place. So if you're not already part of that and you're interested in Axis and Allies, please go and sign up for the Facebook group, sign up for our newsletter. And we really, really want to hear from you in that survey. So vote for your next favorite battle.
Yeah, for sure. So like Sarah said, I'm hosting the panel after this, which is Axis and Allies, and I will be joined by some of our internal Axis and Allies team. And in that panel, we will reveal the 4 choices for the next brand new Axis and Allies title that we'll release sometime next year. We'll give you more details in the next panel, but you'll get to see what those choices are, and then you'll get to go vote. All right. One more little bit of Axis and Allies news, right?
Yes.
We want to... Okay.
Yeah. One thing that we actually talked about when we first put out the announcement that we were going to be reprinting these games was that we're hosting a world championship for Axis and Allies at Gen Con this year. And I know that those events aren't ready to be signed up for yet. You'll want to wait until May when Gen Con opens up those events. But please sign up, be one of the first, and come and play Axis and Allies for the World Championship title at Gen Con this year. Badges are already open, so if you want to go to Gen Con, which we definitely recommend, then go get your badge now. They do actually run out of badges sometimes, and this year I think is going to be one of those years. So make sure to get your badge early and then sign up for events in May. Yep.
So next Axis and Allies reveal panel that we're going to next, we'll have more details on Gen Con there. Matt is going to join us and tell us a little bit about the tournament. All right, Axis and Allies, folks, it's time to move on. I hope to see you in about an hour at the next stream. But Power Rangers fans, it's your turn. Let's talk about Power Rangers a little bit.
There's so many exciting things going on in the Power Rangers world. I don't know how many of you are playing the deck building game, but this is a great way to enjoy Power Rangers in bite-sized little pieces, really fast to put on the table and just get out there and play. I love deck builders for that reason. And the next expansion we have for the deck building game just sounds super exciting to me. I can't wait to play this one. It is for SPD, and this is the SPD to the Rescue expansion. This is one of our small box expansions, and this is going to cover the SPD's B Squad Rangers, which are going to be battling the former A Squad. And so in this one, if you're playing as the heroes, so in the Power Rangers deck building game, you either play as the heroes or the villains, you get a pick. And if you're playing as the heroes in this one, you're trying to contain the minions of the Emperor Grum. And if you're playing as the villains, and you're trying to liberate your fellow A Squad members. And of course, just like with all of our deck building game pre-orders, there is a bonus pack for this that you'll get only if you pre-order the game through us. So make sure to follow that link that's in chat, and you'll be taken to that page, and you just have to pre-order and we'll automatically send you the bonus pack.
Yeah. Very cool. I love the box art for this one. It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, it turned out really
cool.
well. And if you do really like the art, we're also doing a really fun stream later today where Dan Mora is actually going to be drawing some new unique art on screen while Anita Osborne from Renegade is going to be asking him all sorts of fun art related questions. So Dan Mora has done a lot of art for us in Power Rangers. So definitely check that out. And that is this evening later on.
That's right. All right. So next up, let's talk a little bit about RPGs for Power Rangers. So our next book, and remember, we're only talking about things through June. So our next book is Across the Stars. So this is a supplement for both for game masters and players. It's going to be a new adventure for characters around 5th level. So this is going to introduce roles for space combat, the Gold Ranger, Silver Ranger, and Phantom Ranger options. Lots of new threats, including the Psycho Rangers. So that will all be in the book. And one thing that players might not realize, most of the monsters in the role-playing game, right? Most of the monsters are bigger characters on the size chart. The Heroes of the Grid monsters are actually the correct scale to use in the role-playing game. The size of the base is the correct size of the base for most big monsters to use in the RPG. So if you have Heroes of the Grid monster minis, you can use them in your role-playing game scenarios, and they work. We actually did that on purpose, and it makes sense because they're bigger monsters. They take up more space on the grid. But if you don't have any Heroes of the Grid monster minis, or you need more stuff, the next big thing that we're coming out is the Power Rangers Standee Pack #1. This is a big, beefy box with over 170 standees. It's going to cover content for A Fool's Errand, Glutton for Punishment, and Adventures in Angel Grove. So this will give you Ranger characters, lots of monsters, all sorts of standees. They come with nice little clear bases. The standees themselves, right, they're numbered. So if it's, putties and you're in a combat, you're not guessing like which putty people are doing damage to. So for GMs, that's an important thing. So it's putty #1, and I can know that they took a couple damage. So that is coming out later this spring. And then the last thing that we want to talk about for Power Rangers RPG for the next few months is the Play Renegade program. Tell us about that, Sarah. What's the Play Renegade program all about?
This is great because if you love playing RPGs and you want to dip your toes into being a GM and actually running your own games, we want to support you. So whether you're doing that at a local convention, maybe your favorite friendly local game store, or even at a bigger event, we wanted to be able to give you the resources that you need to do that. So all you have to do is go to our Play Renegade program, and we'll throw a link there in the chat, and sign up. And then once we have these resources ready, we're just going to automatically, once you're vetted into the system after you fill out a little form, we'll just automatically send you what you need to be able to run these. So that's going to be a pre-generated campaign, well, more like an adventure that you can run as a one-shot at these events. And it's going to be something that maybe we've run at another convention, or but maybe it's brand new. So we have a lot of little extra adventures that we're making for this program specifically as well. and you'll be one of the first to see those. So you'll get to run that. No one else will be able to get it if they're not part of this program. And then after that, we'll sort of release those to everybody, but you'll get it as part of our Play Renegade program exclusively for at least 6 months. So that's a really fun way to just get a little hop on what we have coming out and see some new content, and also help us grow that community, because it's more fun to play a game if there are more other people to play it with. And that's so true for role-playing games, more so than anything else, I think. So helping us grow that community is really fantastic, and we want to give something back to you. So you got to keep that adventure for free if you agree to just run it at these places. So yeah, really excited to build up that program and just see what people do with it. That should be fun.
Yeah, it should be awesome. Okay. So of course, last but not least for Power Rangers, we just want to cover briefly Heroes of the Grid. So Heroes of the Grid fans, you just came off of a whole month's worth of spoilers and reveals and all sorts of stuff for the current pre-order that is up now. It is arriving in May. That is, again, like, I don't even know. It might be in a container. It might be on the way already. If not, it's like imminent, sitting on a dock or something like that. So it's hard to keep track without Leisha here. Leisha's the master of all things and where things are, but we just know. So Rangers Allies pack number 3, 5 Rangers: Dr. K, Udana, Delphine, Caron, Kendall, Morgan, 3 white, 1 pink, 1 purple. In a complete Rangers Allies pack of women, female Rangers. It's amazing. It's awesome. The first time that we've ever done that. Shadows of Vengeance
about that
theme pack. Yeah, it's really cool. And I think we took some people by surprise with some of our choices. There were definitely some fan favorites that people didn't think that we'd ever do. We did them. So the Shadow of Vengeance theme pack, has got Vengeance in there and his minions and 2 new Rangers, of course. And then Zord pack number 3, Super Zeo Zords and Super Zeo Megazord, and Scenario Book number 2. That's all this current wave. It's all up for pre-order right now. I'm not going to tell you what's coming after this because this is a lot. Unless Sarah's going to spoil. Is this a role reversal? Is Sarah going to spoil something? Never. The enemy of fun would never do that. Okay. All right.
Maybe next time. No, I just wanted to remind people that you actually get that Zord pack number 3 and the Scenario Book 2 for free if you pre-order. So just another great reason to jump in on those pre-orders. And those won't be going on for too much longer because, as Scott mentioned, these are done, and we are really just waiting on the pre-order addresses from everybody to be able to get these on boats and moving. So it's not very much longer before these are going to arrive, and we really need you to pre-order quickly so we can get them to the right place by the release date. So yay!
Especially if you're not in the US, it's very important because we have to determine what's going where in the world. So the last thing we want to briefly mention for Power Rangers is there will be events for all Power Rangers, deck building game, RPG, and Heroes of the Grid at Gen Con. Badges are on sale now. We should get a commission. Do we get a commission if we sell Gen Con badges? I think we should.
No.
All right.
But they're nicer to us.
They are very nice to us. So please come see us at Gen Con if you want to play any of the Power Rangers games. And tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I want to let you know, I'm getting up early on a Saturday morning for all of you, 10 a.m. I will be hosting our Power Rangers deep dive, and I will be joined by Jonathan Ying and other members of the Power Rangers team. I can't keep track of where everybody is. Everybody's doing stuff, but we're going to go into more stuff in detail, and maybe we'll learn a few new things there too. So join me tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Don't sleep in, grab your cereal, and we'll talk Power Rangers.
Nice.
All right.
Is that everything Power Rangers?
Well, it's everything we're going to tell them. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
well, we should chat about G.I. Joe then.
Let's talk about G.I. Joe. Okay,
cool. Yeah, G.I. Joe, we have a lot going on here. So many of you Power Rangers fans noticed you got a ton of spoilers during our recent pre-order campaign for the Shadow of Vengeance. So we're going to do something similar for our G.I. Joe fans. So starting essentially next week, we're going to be doing tons of spoilers and showing off every little part of our next Mission Critical expansion. So this is Chaos Break, and this also has a pre-order promo pack. And like I said, you're going to get all the spoilers, all sorts of information about this next week, but then also during our reveal stream, which is at noon tomorrow on Saturday. So definitely make sure and check that out, because this is a whole expansion just for Mission Critical. And if you aren't really very aware of Mission Critical yet, it is on the same hero system platform as Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. So if you like Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid and you haven't tried Mission Critical yet, please, please, please check this out. You are playing with the same mechanics, but now you're playing with the G.I. Joe characters. But if you really like that system, this just gives you more to play with. And they're actually even compatible. So you can play with heroes from either one of these two games. So Chaos Break actually just adds to your whole pool of things that you can play with and the bad guys that you can play against. So
Neat. Hold on, I'm talking to my friends in chat. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. All right.
Oh dear.
So,
okay.
Very cool. Yeah. Hold on. So yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, the nice thing now, because Mission Critical and Heroes of the Grid are compatible with each other, it's kind of like double the choices now, right? Like you just get more stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's even more for Mission Critical. So we talked about Chaos Break. That is exciting. Yeah. But there's one other very special thing that I think you, Scott, are probably extra excited about. Do you want to tell them about the thing that we have coming out this summer for Mission Critical?
Yes. So you may have seen on the toy side for G.I. Joe that Hasbro was able to bring back Sergeant Slaughter. So we are the beneficiaries of that good deed as well. And Sergeant Slaughter will be making his appearance in G.I. Joe Mission Critical in a limited edition pack with a Sergeant Slaughter mini and all this kind of stuff. I would tune into the G.I. Joe panel to learn more. But, kind of the stuff that you would expect. And Sergeant Slaughter will now join Mission Critical, and you'll be able to put him to work with your team, or maybe, be your main guy and kind of lead a team yourself. So yeah, it's super cool. Everybody in the office was like, we're getting this. I'm like, yes, we're getting this, and we need to jump on it. So it's really neat.
So what does Renegade Limited mean, Scott?
So Renegade Limited means it's a release that we won't be making forever. And sometimes, like in the case of Axis and Allies, it's because the catalog is big and we're going to rotate things through. In the case of Sergeant Slaughter, again, we're going to put him out there. When he's gone, sort of a thing. We're not underprinting him. We're not trying to do any, manufactured scarcity, but we can't make him forever. He's kind of a special deal. So while we're able to make Sergeant Slaughter stuff, we're going to make Sergeant Slaughter stuff and make them available for you. But if you are interested in Sergeant Slaughter, I would recommend not waiting on that because he will not be around forever. So limited means you'll be able to get it from our website and select hobby game stores out in the country that decide that partner with us. They won't be widely available. So your best bet is to either get them from us or your friendly local game store, and you need to bug them and tell them that they need to work directly with Renegade to be able to have that. So there
Sergeant Slaughter, very exciting. We're super happy for all those Mission Critical people that get to play with him. But what about our RPG folks who might also really like Sergeant Slaughter?
Well, there was no way we were going to do Sergeant Slaughter for Mission Critical and not do him for the RPG. Like, are you kidding? So
nice.
So he is also coming out with a limited edition accessory pack, Sergeant Slaughter miniature. And you'll be able to integrate Sergeant Slaughter and some of his supporting cast into your game there as well. I don't want to go into every little detail, but the G.I. Joe Deep Dive stream will show off stuff, and you'll get to see sculpts and more of what's available in both of those SKUs. So it's really very exciting. Oh, you can get a little peek. Like, so if you see him in the star in the window, up there on the screen, you can see him in there, but I think you'll get a better view of him in the G.I. Joe Deep Dive tomorrow.
I really like these RPG accessory packs. I think it's really fun to have this extra stuff that you can actually put on the table and have something physical that you can look at and play with while you're doing your RPG. So it's not just all in your head. It's great to have these extra little bits.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a role player. This is, was one of the role playing was like one of my earliest gaming experiences, and I'm still a role player. I have tons of books. So you're getting all the stuff that I would want. Right, like if somebody said, "Hey, you can make a Sergeant Slaughter mini for your RPG," I'd be like, "Yeah, totally, let's make it." So you're the beneficiaries of my childhood dreams.
You're like the little elf in Santa's workshop, except you get to decide what you want to make.
Sure. Yeah. We kicked Santa out. He was making too many Jack in the Boxes and xylophones. We were like, we need to make minis, dude. So that's what we're doing.
It's true. We're making new little green men. It's great.
That's right. Little men. All right. So tell us about the deck building game, Sara.
Yeah, so we have a new expansion coming out in March. So it's actually really soon. I think it's either on the dock. It's really, really close to being here. So in March, this is really, really cool because even though this is a G.I. Joe deck building game expansion box, we're doing something new this year called crossovers. And we have this as a theme for several of the themes we have coming out this year. And this is the very first one we're announcing. So this is called New Alliances, and it's a crossover with Transformers. So you get to play using the mission deck and all the other things that you know and love from the G.I. Joe deck building game. But now we're going to get a little bit of help from our Autobot friends. So if you're a little worried about defeating Cobra, well, now we've got some extra resources to help you out here, but also new challenges as well. Again, we're going to be jumping into this in the G.I. Joe deep dive panel, but this is one of many crossover things we have to share with you. And so keep your eye out for that throughout the rest of this year. We won't even be sharing all of them with you in this live stream, but so you'll have to check back again in March. Again, this comes with a bonus box. So you'll get New Alliances plus the bonus box, which has a lot of extra content only if you pre-order through our website. So make sure you do that.
Yeah. I mean, that one is literally hitting our warehouse in a couple of weeks. So very cool.
Yeah, almost.
And then again, I have to continue for, I think, we have to be getting paid for this, right? Gen Con, we are going to be running events at Gen Con for G.I. Joe, role-playing game, deck building game, mission critical, all of it will be at Gen Con. Be sure to come see us at Gen Con and play in our events. We have lots of fun stuff going on. I think I just earned us like 25 cents there. There we go. All right.
Well, and also, as I mentioned, we're doing crossover as sort of our theme for the deck building games and even for RPGs this year. And that theme might show up in our Gen Con events as well. So I can't wait for everybody to find out more about that. So we'll be sharing those details later.
Wait, we can't tell them about that? Yeah, RPG people
Not
that
yet.
play
Not yet.
Power Rangers, or Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. You're going to want to go to Gen Con for this. This is crazy. This is going to be really
my
fun.
Favorite idea for an event. I mean, we haven't run it yet, but I think it's going to be my favorite event ever. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a really weird, wacky RPG event that involves all of it. I might have said too much. I may have said too much. Okay.
I don't think you're making any sense, Scott. We should probably keep going.
You get all the fun. Okay. So Transformers. Let's talk Transformers.
Yeah. So again, we have a deck building game. Surprise. So this expansion's actually coming out in June. We haven't shared this with anybody at all yet. And this is going to be another one of our big box expansions. So it is all about the war on Cybertron. And in this one, you're battling to control Cybertron cities to determine the fate of the entire planet. It has a ton of new cards, actually over 175 new cards. You get to navigate a matrix of cards to gather allies, tools, and defeat adversaries. So if you haven't played the Transformers deck building game yet, it's really unique. In a lot of deck building games, there's just sort of a row of cards and you play out cards, you get points, you spend those points to buy a card in the row, and you just make your deck better. So in the Transformers deck building game, you actually have a matrix of cards, so a grid face down on the board, and you are going into different cards, flipping them over, you don't know what's going to be there. Sometimes it's a Decepticon, sometimes it's a new weapon or a resource that you need. And so in the War on Cybertron, we just expand that, and you have more choices for things that you can flip over. You're going to be trying to help control some of those cities that might be flipped over in the Matrix as well. So this one just gives you a lot more to dig your teeth into. Really excited, brand new big box, and this is coming out in June or July, so this summer. And if you pre-order, guess what? You get
a bonus box for free, right? Yeah.
Like everything else. So you have to do that through our website. So make sure you pre-order through the Renegade Games website, and you'll get that free pre-order bonus box.
Very cool. And so Jeannie, one of our creative directors, just called out, this is a Matt Frank piece of art on the box. Ooh, Matt Frank is awesome. I first met Matt Frank at the first Power Morphicon that we attended. That's how we met Matt. Now he's doing amazing artwork for us.
Yeah, right. It just looks really good. And there's a bonus pack too. So
and there's
cool.
a bonus pack. Yep. Very nice. All right, let's talk the Time Is Now adventure book for the Transformers role-playing game. So
Ooh, this is fun.
Yes. This one is imminent. It's on its way. This will release by May. This is an adventure for levels 1 through 5. Players can pull inspiration from NPCs and story locations and build their own characters, obviously. And it's a follow-up to Troubled Waters from the core rulebook. So if you played through the Troubled Water adventure in the core rulebook, you can continue right into this with your players and continue their adventures, or, obviously as a standalone, and you can use it as a standalone. Again, tune into the the Transformers panel deep dive, and you will get even more information and more art, and they'll give you some of the deep details.
I really like these adventure books because I'm pretty new to role playing, and I want to sit down at the table and play. But there's a lot of work that goes into being a GM. And so if you can just have an adventure that you know is going to be a really good story that has all of the data, all the characters, all the NPCs, all the threats in one place, and you can just run through it and know that your players are going to have a great time, that is fantastic. And if I'm a player and I just want maybe some inspiration for my character, or I'm not really sure what setting I should pick for my background, these are also a really good way to just find out more about this world and make your character that much richer. So I think these are just fantastic books, no matter if you're a GM or a player.
Yep. Yeah, and we know that we have a lot of people that are new to RPGs this is their first RPG, whether it's Transformers or Joe or Power Rangers. So we want to be able to give you guys content to get started. One of the most intimidating things for a new game master is having to create a story and write a campaign. So this is a really good way to jump in. But if you're an experienced game master, but you're short on time, that's kind of me, these are really great too. So you can just kind of like pick something up off the shelf and, you can customize it and stuff, but it gives you a really nice foundation.
It's a lot less intimidating, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And a time saver. So let's talk My Little Pony.
I get to run the My Little Pony live stream later, so I can't wait for that. That's going to be tomorrow at 1:00, where we give you all of the deep dive details. But first, here we'll give you just the little tidbits that you need to know. So first, the deck building game. We have the next expansion for that is coming out, which is Princess Pageantry. So I really can't wait for the Meeple bonus pack for the deck building game for this one, because it has all of the princess ponies in it. And I remember them from when I was a little kid. I'm so excited to have them as little cute meeples. Again, you only get those if you pre-order from our website. That's our bonus for this one. But yes, we're going to include Celestia, Luna, Cadence, and Shining Armor are the new characters for this deck building game expansion. We also have a new card type, Festivals, which we will deep dive into in that live stream coming up. So this one, I just am so excited about the My Little Pony deck building game, because I connect with it better than any of the other deck building games, obviously, because I grew up with this as my fandom. But also, I just think it's a really good way the mechanics are put together. I love the way that Chris Chun developed this game. He's been a designer we've worked with since the beginning of Renegade, when you made lanterns with him. And so he got to work on this. And yeah, it's really fun. You get to go on little missions, and you're trying to overcome troubles during this deck building game, and it's cooperative, which I also really like.
Yeah.
So always good to have more content for that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Chris Chung, the game designer's in the chat. It was really, really nice when we got the rights to do My Little Pony tabletop games, that we just discovered that Chris really knows the brand really well, and he's a huge super fan. So it was nice finding that game designer that also just really has a passion for it, and he's done a great job. So, all right, deck building game. Let's talk.
My Little Pony Transformer crossover comic. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a thing. I think I have it on my shelf back there. Oh yeah, and Mary Bellamy also did the art. Thank you, Jeannie. Mary's awesome too. I've worked with her for years and years, and she's also done lots of My Little Pony art for IDW Comics and all sorts of cool stuff. So excellent. Nice. Yes, nice. Chris is awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about the role-playing game. Role-playing game. The core book will be releasing in June, and we will be putting this up for pre-order. It's up for pre-order now today. Is that correct? It's up?
It is.
So and when you pre-order any of the role-playing game books, our general thing is that you get the PDF for free, as long as you order it during the pre-order window. So that is up now, and it's coming out in June. There it is. Really cool. The team's really been working hard on this. As you know, My Little Pony is a little bit different than maybe some of the other action brands, G.I. Joe and Power Rangers, but it still is the Essence 20 system. And the game design team has been working on this to give it really, My Little Pony has its own kind of special twist on the way, the game plays and how conflict is resolved and them going on quests and things like that. So it's really super cool. They did a great job on it. There will also be a GM screen that comes with an adventure in a jam. So that will be releasing also at the same time, as well as dice and dice bags. All of it's coming out together.
Love these dice. I want all the dice.
Oh, the dice
really
are
pretty.
The dice are amazing. And on top of that, there is a character journal. All of that is coming out at once. So you can get the core book, the GM screen and the adventure, the dice bag, the character journal will all be hitting in June. The dice are very sparkly. They're amazing.
Why would you want a character journal? Can you tell us what that is?
Yes. So character journals are super cool. So a character journal is like taking your basic character sheet that we all use when we play an RPG and blowing it up. So instead of just a couple pages of details on my character, the journal allows me to flesh out my character. So there's usually, I think, in most of these about 16 pages or so. It's like a 16-page character sheet. Then the rest of the journal is for me to take notes throughout my game sessions. So things that I do, things that my characters experience, NPCs that I've met, notes, and also kind of a journal. Like it's a record of my journey and with this character, and it's really cool. I've been playing RPGs for my whole life, and every time I play in a big campaign with a character that goes on for a long time, I always go get like a little notebook or something, and that's my character's book, right? And that's where I keep all my notes and everything else, and it's really cool. Like I have Star Wars characters that I've played in the past where I can go back and look at the adventures that I went on with this character 10, 15, 20 years ago, and it's neat. This is that plus that blown up character sheet. It's super cool, and it's really pretty. Like all you get a foily unicorn.
You do, and it's even colored inside, so it's not just a black and white character sheet that I could print off at my home printer. Like this is actually a really beautiful whole experience of that journey you went on with your character in one place that you can go back and look at. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and the expanded character sheet has information that isn't on a regular basic character sheet. It's just a much deeper dive into you building and fleshing out your character. So they're really cool. This isn't exclusive to My Little Pony. These exist for G.I. Joe and Transformers, Power Rangers, and Vampire the Masquerade, and Hunter the Reckoning. So they're available for all of our RPGs. Again, things I wanted as a player that now I can have because I can just make it. So there you go.
That's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. So there you go. That's all of that. Once again, My Little Pony will have lots of stuff going on at Gen Con. Look at that. I made another 25 cents, gave them a plug.
You can buy a coffee at the end.
I can buy a coffee. Probably, yeah, not an expensive coffee, but a coffee. Also, Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I believe you're hosting this one, aren't you, Sarah?
I am, and Christopher Chun's going to join me for this as well. And
that's right.
It'll be fantastic. So yeah, we're going to give a deep dive into all of the things we just talked about, and really show it off and talk about My Little Pony, answer your questions. So if you do have questions about any of the things that we talk about in this reveal stream, note those, and we will be answering those during each one of the individual streams.
Yeah. All right. 1 Pacific tomorrow. All right. It's time to move on.
We're going 180 degrees. So we were just at My Little Pony. Now we're going to talk about World of Darkness.
World of Darkness.
It's a little bit different. But so the first thing we have to talk about for World of Darkness is actually a new book for Hunter the Reckoning. Hunter the Reckoning is a whole system, a whole game that came out last year at Gen Con, actually. And now we have more books coming out for that this year. Actually, we have quite a few things coming out for this year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Lines Drawn in Blood?
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. I'm chatting with my friends in chat. Okay. So.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. So Lines Drawn in Blood.
One thing, actually, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So one thing that's important is that, so Hunter the Reckoning, let's go back and just talk about what that is really quick first. So it's part of World of Darkness. And many of you probably have heard of Vampire the Masquerade, but you may not have heard of Hunter the Reckoning. So these are both in the same sort of universe. But in Hunter, you are actually playing as somebody who has realized that there's all these monsters out there, and you feel this intense drive for some reason to go out and hunt them. And in Vampire, you're obviously playing as a vampire, and there's a lot of political intrigue, and there's all sorts of cool diplomacy things happening. And in Hunter, you're really out killing monsters, which really appeals to me. I think that's super fun. So we get more stuff for it this year.
If you're curious about Hunter the Reckoning, I highly recommend on our YouTube channel right here, you check out the live stream, the live play, the actual play that the crew did. And the very first episode does an excellent job of showing you what it means to be a hunter. You're just ordinary people that experience something fantastic, almost unexplainable, and that triggers something in you that gives you this drive to want to go out there and find out more, right? So if you're fans of like X-Files and Kolchak the Night Stalker and all that sort of stuff, like it's very much that, like delving into the supernatural world where all this stuff may be happening right under our noses and we didn't realize it, and now you're kind of aware that maybe the world isn't as it seems. It's really, really cool.
I love all the investigating, like you're on a crime show and you're trying to figure out what happened. I think that part's really neat.
Yeah, it's really different. I personally really like it. It has that very grounded, right, sort of like any man, like, you know, any person sort of a thing in over their head, right? Like eventually you might encounter something that, like, you know, you're not prepared for, and that's exciting, right? It's kind of like the suspense. So the core book is out now and available, and there's dice and all sorts of stuff. But the very first supplement that we're putting out is Lines Drawn in Blood. And this is a series of 4 stories. So this is a storyteller. This is for storytellers and players. It has content in there for players as well. But it's 4 stories, and you can play them individually, but they're also designed that you can link them together and make an entire chronicle. So storytellers, you can use these as one-off to fill in, or especially if you're a newer storyteller or, you know, pressed for time like I am, you can take this and turn it into a chronicle, and this will become a campaign for you and your play group. Other things that we have coming up, the Storyteller Screen and Toolkit. So this is the Storyteller Screen and also a supplement book that has more information in there that is useful to storytellers, very similar to the Vampire version. There's also a premium token set. So that is releasing this summer as well. And we're also supporting Hunter with the Play Renegade program. So storytellers around the world, if you have local conventions or meetups or stores that support RPGs and you want to run events in stores and any of that, sign up for the Play Renegade program. We're going to have 2 new exclusive stories a year for the program per line, and you'll get to run these in your local communities and conventions and all that sort of stuff. And then later on, we'll make those available to anybody as we kind of rotate those through. So that's what's coming. Oh, go ahead.
I'm really excited for the token sets because I think that Hunter really kind of revolves around that suspense, like you said. And these token sets allow the storyteller to put out a token and say, okay, now this thing is affecting the whole party.
Right.
And then maybe the party does some things, and then you can add another token on top of that and say, okay, it just got this much worse. And it's you could tell the players at the table that this thing is happening and they now have this effect on them, or that whatever has happened. But it's so much more fun to have these really nice quality poker chips that you slam down on the table and say, now this is affecting you. Oh, look, now it's affecting you even more. And the suspense of that token stack building up, I think, is just a really great addition to this game.
Yeah, it's super cool. So all of this will be available early summer, and that's Hunter for the first half of the year anyway. Stay tuned for more in the future. But let's move on. Let's talk Vampire the Masquerade RPG.
Yeah, so Vampire, we have 2 really brand new, super exciting books coming out. So the first one, we don't have a ton of information to share this time with you, so you'll want to make sure and check back for our March Renegade Con. This one isn't actually on pre-order, but we were just too excited about it and we had to share it anyway. So this first one is Blood Sigils, and it is a source book that is going to give you a look into the underground blood magic scene in the World of Darkness. Anything else you wanted to share with us about this one, Scott?
No, I mean, Kevin might spill a few more things. So you definitely want to tune into the deep dive stream tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time for World of Darkness reveals. But this one's just on the cusp of us being able to tell you more. It wasn't quite ready in time. So by March 1st, our next stream, we'll be able to probably spill the beans on everything. But yeah, this one's really cool. It's been in the works for a while.
That cover art is just intense.
It's
turned out
pretty
really
amazing.
Well.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Ken Hite is finishing this up. He had a little mishap, so give us a few more weeks. The guy got the best excuse ever for being able to get a few more weeks to finish up some work. So, but this is really amazing. But the other book that we want to talk about is the Vampire the Masquerade Player's Guide. So the Player's Guide, again, has been in the works for a while. This is everything you need to know about making a personalized character all in one place. So we kind of, the team got together and kind of said, a Player's Guide would be really nice. The core book obviously has a ton of information in it, but then other stuff kind of gets added and kind of goes around. So we wanted to really just focus on the player. So this is, you can customize characters with disciplines, including new Oblivion discipline, expanded info about playing cast-offs, lots more. Kevin's going to go into detail on this. This is a super, super cool book. This one will be out again early summer, probably May, June. I think it's June. And that's has a very comfortable margin, should be on time. This is available for pre-order now, isn't it, Sarah?
Yep, you can pre-order this one right away. And this has been something, like you said, has been in the works for a long time. And I think just so much utility for so many people out there that play Vampire. I think they're really going to be able to just immediately take this to the table and do some really cool new stuff with it.
Yeah. Tune in. We don't want to spoil. This is Kevin's first Renegade Con, so we don't want to scoop him. So tune into
what we usually do.
Yeah. We usually we scoop the other teams. We do it to Dan Bojanowski all the time. That's fine. But we don't want to steal Kevin's thunder. So tune in tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time for more on that. But there's some more news for World of Darkness. Let's talk about a couple other things. Chicago by Night. Yeah. So Chicago by Night. that book, it's been out for a while. We are actually giving it a refresh, just giving it an editing pass, integrating any errata and things like that may have come about over the last few years. But we'll be reprinting that one again this summer. So if you missed out on it the first time and you're having trouble finding it out there in the world, because we do know there's not much of it left, we are reprinting that book, and Chicago by Night will be out this summer in a refreshed edition.
Very nice. Yeah, we'll have
nice.
some details on that in the stream too. Well, I guess there's really nothing else to talk about with World of Darkness.
Right? Well, I mean, there's one other thing that we can mention briefly, very briefly.
Do you think anybody cares about that?
I think if we don't do it, people are going to find us and rage all over us. So,
well, maybe we should talk about that then.
We should at least a little bit. So Werewolf the Apocalypse is coming this year. I promise. Scout's honor. I don't know which hand I should use. I should use that hand. Okay. So coming out this year, it will premiere at Gen Con. We are going to be running tables of it at Gen Con. You will be able to play. You will be able to pre-order it soon. We can't turn it on for pre-order quite yet. The team at Paradox has been doing an amazing job. They're working really hard. If you don't know, Paradox actually takes care of the development of the core books when introducing a new line, and then Renegade picks it up from there, and then we do all the supplements. So the team over there, I got to read it, and I've read it. Kevin's read it. It's really cool.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm in the dark.
I actually I have it on my iPad that I have my show notes on right now. It's on here. So March 1st, when we do another Just Wait special edition, just for about an hour or so, we're going to be able to give you some more details on Werewolf. We'll most likely be turning on pre-order sometime in the next month or so, but we will be premiering Werewolf the Apocalypse at Gen Con in August this year. You can play in events. You'll be able to get the book, release the PDF, the whole deal. That's good. Yeah, somebody said when? August, Gen Con, Werewolf, be there.
And if you want to see it a little bit early, you can pre-order and you get the PDF. And yes, we always put the PDFs out early because we don't like waiting. We make you wait sometimes, but we don't like you to have to wait too much. So you get the whole book. You get to see all the juicy details before anybody else will, as soon as we send it out, if you pre-order.
That's true. Pre-order people always get their PDFs early too. So you'll get it before anybody even touches a hardcover book. So tune in next month, March 1st. We'll have an update on Werewolf, but it is coming this year. We'll see you at Gen Con. When events open up in May, is that Gen Con event registration opens up in May. There will be Werewolf tables that you can sign up for and try the game out for the first time. When is Gen Con? Gen Con is, August 3rd through the 6th. Thanks, Thomas. I would recommend signing up ASAP. Our RPG tables always sell out.
They do.
So get on there.
Minutes.
Yeah. So get on there. Our biggest issue, we could run as many tables as we can staff. So sign up.
Yep.
All right. So
fun.
Oh,
nice.
Let's talk about Rivals.
There's another thing. Yeah, Rivals. So if you haven't heard about Rivals yet, Rivals is an expandable card game. So this is a game you can play with 2 to 4 people, and you are trying to be last man standing. And in this game, you actually can play with more than one different coterie, so you can mix those together, which is super fun. And we put out a whole bunch of expansions. We put out many expansions already, and this Justice and Mercy is our most recent expansion that we have already spoiled a few cards from. So if you go to our website and click on the little Rivals button at the top, then you can go and find some of the spoilers we've already done for this one, find out what's in there. But this one is going to be focusing on 2 different clans. So this is, do you want to say these names so that I don't say them incorrectly? I'm not very good with this one.
So it's the Banu Hakim and Salubri.
Oh, that's how you say it. And Salubri, yes. So those 2 clans.
Opinions may vary, but that's the way I say it. We have this discussion all the time, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's the right way.
I feel better about that.
Okay.
So yes,
right. No problem.
Justice and Mercy, we've got those 2 new clans, and that covers now. We have almost every clan represented. So if you want to go back and find your clan, the exact one that you want to be playing with, we probably have already put it in one of the previous expansions, so you can start there. And then the core box includes 4 different clans, and you can, like I said, you can mix them together to make your coterie and play exactly who you want to play based on your play style and which clans you really enjoy. So that is coming out in March. But then at Gen Con, we have, again, this huge tournament for it. It's called the Prince of the City. And that is just one of our biggest events that we run. We have tons of really cool prizes. A lot of people show up for it. It's a really big event. And if you don't know how to play, we're going to be doing how to play events. So you can jump into those and find out all about the game first, and then maybe still play in the Prince of the City event. And Dan and Matt are going to be talking about all of that during the World of Darkness Reveals live stream, which happens at 2:30 on Saturday, which is tomorrow.
That's right.
So
2:30 Pacific time.
Check that out. 2:30 Pacific time. Yes.
Yep. All right.
So yeah, that's Rivals.
Yep. All right. So again, World of Darkness fans, we will see you again March 1st with more. But there's some stuff to sink. Yeah, that's right. Don't miss it. But there's some stuff to sink your teeth into for now. All right. Nice.
Oh, we're to one of my favorite parts. So I get to talk about this even more right after this stream. That'll be awesome. So on to Renegade Originals. So we've talked about all of the themes: Power Rangers, Transformers, My Little Pony, G.I. Joe, World of Darkness. And now we get to talk about some things that we actually made in-house, some things that we're still partnering with other people on, but a lot of things that we just made out of the blue, just all on our own. So the first one is a game that I have been spending a lot of time playing myself recently, and this is Artisans of Splendent Vale. So this game is actually out now. If you go and order it, we will put it into a box right away and it will get shipped immediately to your house. But I did just want to talk about it because I'm in love with this game. That's pretty much why. So I put it on the list.
Yeah.
It just came out, and I know, Scott, you're a big fan of this game too.
Yeah. I mean, this is Nikki Valens' just crazy vision of. It started off with a conversation that we had. We went to lunch at a PAX Unplugged, like, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. And I asked Nikki, what would you want to make? Like, we'd never met. In case you don't know, Nikki is a very accomplished game designer, worked at FFG for years. Legacy of Dragonholt was their original creation there, but worked on lots of their big brands, and just an amazing game designer. And I had asked them, what would you like to make? And it wasn't quite this yet, but it was kind of this. And I said, let's make it. And it kept snowballing, and it kept getting bigger, and the scope kept getting bigger. Like the storybooks, I think at one point we thought the storybooks, that's one character's book. One character. And originally we thought they were going to be, like 64 pages or something. And they're just, these big chunky books. So if you like adventure games, campaign games that you can play with a group for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, this is it. It's not your stereotypical, game with dragons and orcs and elves, but it is high fantasy adventure. It's really just adorable and fun. And it was really satisfying that we were able to basically just let Nikki run wild and do whatever they wanted. So, and it came out fantastic. It's just amazing. That box that box is huge, and it's really heavy. Huge. Yeah, it's really huge.
It's enormous, and all the plushies for it too.
Yeah. Like,
so this is literally
that box may weigh as much as Sarah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it weighs as much as my dog, actually.
Yeah.
No, this is literally what I've spent every single Saturday doing for the last couple of months now. I have a group. Actually, it's a a father and his 12-year-old daughter who comes over and plays with me and my husband every single weekend. We always look forward to it. We're only about halfway done, and we've been playing for a really long time. And we play a couple sessions every single time they come over. I can't say enough good things about this game. It is so much fun, and it's so unique. I've never played anything like it before. And I love campaign games. I play every single campaign game I can get my hands on, and there's never been one like this. And it has stickers. I love stickers.
And it has stickers. It does. There's lots of customization. And once you play through the whole thing, you can get a recharge pack and play it again. So it has...
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. Has huge replayability. It is not like your typical legacy game where you play it once and then, you can never play it again. You know all the secrets. You can totally play it again. You can make different new choices, play different characters, all sorts of stuff. So,
and when your husband leaves his energy drink on the table and your cat knocks it over on all of your character sheets, then you can use the recharge pack to...
Oh, way to call out Lincoln. All right, nice.
Not that would ever have happened, but it's
no,
okay.
Of course not.
So I'm sorry, we got a little derailed there because I'm so excited about this game. But I did want to mention also that if you've looked for this game and you haven't been able to find it, it is because it's a Renegade exclusive item. So you'll want to look at our website directly or any of the friendly local game stores who partnered with us to do the Kickstarter for this game. And currently those are really the two main places to find this. So if you haven't found it yet, look there. We have it in stock and it'll ship out right away and you will really, really enjoy this game.
Yeah.
So
and people in chat that see the plush up there, the plush is available. It's actually up on our website. Those plush are characters from Artisans. So you
the
can,
bear is so cute.
You too can have Artisans of the Splendid Veil plush.
That is true.
Yeah, they're neat.
And if you play with the right character, you even get the horned dog as your familiar. Oh. You get this as one of your characters. It gets zoomies and runs around and bites things. It's wonderful.
Nice. All right.
Awesome.
All right. If we let Sara just keep talking about Artisans, we'll be here until through the Axis and Allies reveal, and then the Axis and Allies fans will be upset with Sara. We don't want that. So,
that's true. All right. Moving on.
So, Wreck and Run. Let's talk Wreck and Run.
So this game also has already come out, but just recently. This was a Kickstarter project that we just fulfilled, and this is part of our Solo Hero series, which is a whole group of games that are specifically solo only, which means that they were created for solo players from scratch, from the get-go. And this one actually was made by Scott Alms, who is just a fantastic designer. We've had a blast working with him. And this one has an expansion that came out with it at the same time. There's a playmat. Make your game really nice and fun. And this game is just a blast. If you really liked Warp's Edge, it's by the same designer. It's in the same series. I think you'd also really like this one. It's got different mechanics, but in the same sort of realm as Warp's Edge. So definitely, if you haven't yet, check this one out as well. Okay, Scott's busy. So we'll talk about Warp's Edge Anomaly, which is the new expansion.
I'm talking to my friends in chat.
I see that. I see that.
Thanks. Okay.
It's going well. So Warp's Edge Anomaly is an expansion that adds a lot more to Warp's Edge, gives you more challenges. That expansion is actually out in retail stores as well, so you can find that anywhere that games are sold. And another game that just came out very recently, this was just a couple weeks ago, is Fuse Countdown. And that is a standalone expansion and a follow-up to, again, one of the very first games that Scott put out. Even before I got here, he came out with Fuse.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but we actually did things without Sara at one point. It's mind-boggling.
I'm not sure that's true.
We don't quite understand how that was possible, but somehow we managed. I don't know.
So Fuse Countdown is a real-time game. If you haven't played Fuse, I love that you play the entire game in 10 minutes. So set up It's pretty quick. You can learn the game while you're playing it, and then you set a timer for 10 minutes, and that's how long you have to defuse all the bombs. It's cooperative. It's intense. It is the best, most fun 10 minutes you're going to have, and it's a dice rolling puzzle solving game. Yeah, so this is, again, a standalone. It adds more challenges. It adds different types of dice. So you have to think just a little bit harder, but still all the same great stuff you would expect from Fuse. So you can combine them together or just play one or the other. And I love the artwork on the cover of this. I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, it's really cool. So like Sarah said, like Kane Klenko designed this game. If you haven't played the original Fuse or you haven't, picked up the new Countdown game, it's an amazing real-time game, and it only takes 10 minutes. So, because I don't think your nerves could take more than 10 minutes.
No. It's exhausting, but I love it as a filler game. Like when you're waiting for people to show up or you're at your game night and you need something at the end of just one more game before everybody goes home. This is it. It's hard to beat this game.
Yeah, it's really awesome. All right.
Excellent.
We're doing okay on time.
We're good. We're good. We do have quite a few more things, but Search for Lost Species has taken up a lot of my own personal time recently because we just launched a Kickstarter for this, and I'm super excited about that. And also because, again, this is one that I personally really love this because when I was a little tiny child, the thing that I wanted to do when I grew up was to be an entomologist researching insects in the Amazon. So I've always loved science since I was a tiny child. And this game, The Search for Lost Species, just really encapsulates so much of what's fun about being a field researcher. You actually are looking for these animals, real life animals. We worked with a real organization called Rewild to pick the species that we wanted to feature in this game. They're all from Papua New Guinea, and all of these species were found at one point in time, and now we don't know if they're there anymore. They might be extinct. They might just be hiding in the wilderness. We don't know. So using the same mechanics that were designed by the same designers, Matthew O'Malley and Ben Ross, they designed a new game using this new theme, but most of the mechanics from the Search for Planet X. So if you enjoyed that deductive reasoning, that puzzle solving that you got from Search for Planet X, this is a little bit more challenging, but in that same theme. And there's actually an easy side and a hard side of the board. Easy is not the right word. There's an easier side of the board and a more challenging side of the board. But both of them use that same deductive reasoning, but now you have 6 different species that you can be searching for. Each of them have unique characteristics. And yeah, this is on Kickstarter. You should go back it because you get it 3 months early. So if you don't want to wait all the way until the full release in August, you should go and back this now. It'll make Scott happy too.
For sure. It's really cool.
He's
so not now because we don't have time. But we're gonna have to chat about that. You wanted to be an entomologist, but then somehow you went into like working with infectious disease and as a pulmonary immunologist.
They're both bugs, right? One kind of bug, another kind of bug.
Yeah, I guess they're a little different.
They're a little different.
All right. Okay, so the next thing I think we're going to announce, this is the first time, right? We're announcing this.
No one knows about this.
No one knows about it. So I guess we put it up on screen, and we are going to be putting out, based on the Amazon show and, of course, Neil Gaiman's writing, Good Omens card game, little boxed game will be coming out this May-ish. So you'll see that in stores, and you'll actually see it. We're doing 3 different exclusive versions. They're cosmetic shifts, so don't feel like you have to get different ones for different gameplay, but you can pick and choose. So Amazon will have an exclusive, Barnes & Noble will have an exclusive, and hobby stores will have an exclusive with different box art and also some different stuff inside. Isn't that correct?
Yes. So each one of these are going to have their own special exclusive item. And if you come to the deep dive, you'll get to see those individual themes. And that deep dive is actually happening right after this. So at 5:30 Pacific time, you're going to find out more about these. And just to clarify, we're hoping for a summer release on this one. We don't have the exact date yet, but that is estimated at this time. But we're getting close to that, and we will announce the exact timing very soon. So
I don't know. Right after this is Axis and Allies.
I lied. It's going to be right after Axis and Allies.
There you go. There you
yes,
go.
that'll be perfect. Yes.
Okay.
So yes, this evening, and I'm running that one. I'm going to be here all the time. So just come and join all of our streams, and we'll all be there, and we can chat, and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yes, so right. Good Omens, find the exclusives, find out all about those right after this.
Yeah.
Or in the next one. Yeah. Next RPG. So again, we are partnering on this one, just like we partnered with Amazon Studios for Good Omens. We are partnering with Hunters Entertainment on the Ragnarock RPG. And this one is a heavy metal RPG. And it'll come with a GM screen if you want to order that as well. And there's a deluxe version you could pre-order, and those are all coming out this summer. And you can pre-order that now on our web store.
Yeah. This is super cool. So this is from our friends over at Hunters Entertainment. If you ever wanted to play a heavy metal fantasy RPG, this is it. Like, I'm excited about this. Like, this is just like out there, and I love stuff that's out there, so this should be really fun. Yep, that's the deluxe, is up on the screen now. Maybe it's been up there forever, maybe it's not up there yet, I don't know. There's a lag, there's a delay, but it's up there and you can see it, and that's super cool too. Yeah, so really fun. All right, next up, something new from Garfield Games.
Oh, Garfield Games makes so much fun stuff. We love all their games. So if you've played Raiders of the North Sea, if you've played Architects of the West Kingdom, they have just a ton of really cool games. And they have this whole line of games. They're called their Ancient Anthologies. And they're all individual standalone games that are all based on big historical battles, things that you may have read about in the history books. And this one, The Legacy of You, fits right into that. So what's really neat about this one, though, is that his other ones could be played as solo games, but this one's actually a solo-only game. So it's a campaign, which I think is really neat. So it's solo-only. It's fully resettable, so you can play through it several times and get different experiences because it is a campaign game. So you may not see the whole game when you play through it that first time. Then you reset it and you can play through it again. So it just sounds really fantastic. Some of the other games in the Ancient Anthology series include Hadrian's Wall and Raiders of Scythia. And so if you like those, definitely check this out. And we have a promo pack of a bunch of extra special cards for Legacy of You and for some of the other games in the Ancient Anthologies series. They'll be included with the pre-order of this game. So don't miss out on that one. Definitely pre-order that now. And that will be coming out in this summer as well.
For sure. Sorry, I'm answering questions. I'm actually going to our website, checking on things. So,
good.
Yeah. So if you're looking for pre-orders, I'll give you a tip. If you're looking for pre-orders on our website, it's really easy. Just go to the website, click on that little Shop Renegade thing, and go down the left-hand side and click the pre-order tab. And everything that's up for pre-order that we are talking about today is already up there. So you can find it all in one place. You don't have to search and go crazy. So it's really easy. Nice. All right. Legacy.
We have three. Shem Phillips.
Three more things. Shem Phillips, one of our favorites, but let's talk Robo Rally.
Nice. Robo Rally! Right. I love Robo Rally because when I very first started playing board games, which was a long time ago, this was one of the first games that I played. And I've always loved pre-programming games after playing this one. It was the first one to ever do that mechanic. It's just a classic, and it really deserves to be a little bit easier to find. So I can't wait for this. It's going to be awesome. So what are we doing with this one? Why is it new?
So we've given it an entire refresh. We're at new art. Also been tweaking the rules. We've been working with Richard Garfield. Our internal design team has been play testing like crazy. Might even be some play testers in the chat. If so, remember, you have an NDA. But yeah, so we're basically, we've gone back, we've listened to the community, we've looked at all the previous editions, we've taken feedback of what people liked, maybe what they didn't like, made some other improvements. I really think it's really awesome. The team's done a great job on it. It's going to be, I think, Robo Rally that people will really love. And we're not going to stop there. We won't go into lots of details, but we're not just stopping with the base game. If you remember way back in the olden days when Robo Rally first came out, there was expansions with new boards because playing new boards was fun. So we're going to bring that back. We're going to give you new boards in the future. So we have lots of planned over the next few years with Robo Rally. But the first thing will be the brand new release will be coming out in time for Gen Con. We're going to have events at Gen Con for it, all sorts of stuff. So we're going to be kicking it off there with a big old Robo Rally launch. So we hope to see you there, and it's super fun. March 1st, come back March 1st, and we'll probably show you even more stuff for if you're a Robo Rally fan.
Yeah, this one isn't on pre-order yet, but we really just couldn't hold back. We wanted to talk about this one so badly. So we're giving you a few little spoilers since you all already know it's coming out. We wanted to share those images that we've been working on with you, but come back March 1st and we'll have definitely more to show.
Yeah, and come to the panel. Dan might talk a little bit more about this. Dan's been working on this day and night. So
yes,
tune into that. Tune into that reveal. All right, next up, we have just 2 more things, then we'll wrap it up and allow me a chance to get a drink of water before I have to go do Axis and Allies. Let's talk diplomacy. We're bringing back diplomacy. It's been out of print for a while, or it's in print, but it's a different version of the game. So we're working on a new updated reprint of diplomacy. I'll just say it right up front for all you hardcore players that are wondering. We are not doing cardboard, so we are bringing back pieces for diplomacy. We are spoiling right there. That is the new box art up on the screen. It really came out amazing. I love it. You can see the map in the background and everything. So this is really cool. Probably March 1st, we'll have even more that we can show you and really just kind of like open up the box and show you everything that's going to be in there in the printing. And it will be out this summer in time for Gen Con. And we are going to have lots of events being run at Gen Con. We are partnering with Thomas and the folks there that have already been running diplomacy events. We're just going to give them a lot of support and make them super awesome the best we can. So diplomacy fans, we got you. We know what you like. We know what you want. We know what you didn't like.
And we're not touching the rules because this game is perfect how it is.
Somebody said plastic or metal pieces. How about wood? I think wood has a nice feel to it for diplomacy. Custom wood pieces sounds like a nice plan. All right, that's my one spoiler. Sara gave me the stink eye, so we're not saying anything else. Tune in for the other stuff.
Well, speaking of spoilers, this next one is one that we actually spoiled to the world just yesterday. So no one even knew we were doing this at all. But we did just announce yesterday that we are going to be making a new version of Acquire, which is another game that I have been playing since I can remember. I love everything about this game. My husband's an economist, so I had to play this. It was sort of a requirement of our relationship, and we both always really enjoyed it. Like it's just fantastic that we get to have a new version of it. I actually have, you can see on my shelf, this is one of our versions of it that we play, the super old big version.
Yeah,
we're not just reprinting this; we're making some fun updates, but.
Yeah, people can see part of my library. If you look at my stream, like that's not everything, but like all my Axis and Allies and Acquires and Diplomacies, like we've been tearing everything apart, comparing editions. We want to make the best new edition of all these games for you. And Acquire is no different. Like we're going back to the 9x12 board, plastic board, nice printing, so you'll be able to easily read the board. Super cool stuff. Again, we just announced this yesterday, but we've been working on it for months. So it's not like we just announced it. Now we're starting from scratch. This has been in the works for months and months. So in March 1st, we'll have some more info for you, but this is coming out this year. Might not make it for Gen Con, but it's coming out this year. If it does make it for Gen Con, it's probably because we flew in some early copies. Yeah, Sid Saxon, by far. I actually own some Sid Saxon games that came from his collection. After he passed, they sold off some of his collection or auctioned it off, and I actually have some of his games. It's really cool. He would always write the date that he bought the game on the inside, like box lid and stuff like that. So it's really, really pretty neat.
Yeah, and
All
not
right.
on pre-order yet, but check back in March for that one.
Check back in March. Yep, it's going to be awesome. Okay, that's
Cool.
That's all the first initial reveals. Remember, tune into the deep dive streams where they're going to reveal more things and give you more details on the things that we talked about. But we have just a couple more things we want to just tell you to wrap it all up so you know what to expect for the rest of the weekend. Go, Sara.
Awesome. So really quick, like I mentioned at the very beginning, we're going to be doing giveaways during all of our reveal streams. So make sure to show up for those. And we're going to need you to participate to be able to do those. So you're going to have to bring the energy. You're going to have to be in chat. Let us know how excited you are about all of this. And that'll let us do some giveaways. We can't wait to do that. And we also are doing another special thing for all our fans this weekend. We have a reward point system. So Renegade Rewards. And if you don't know about that yet, just go to our website and look in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll see a little rewards thing that you can click on to sign up. And then every time you buy something from our website and it ships to you, when that game ships, you'll actually get those reward points in your account and you can spend those on all sorts of things. You can also get reward points for following us on socials or sharing games with your friends. If they order things from our website, you get referral points for that. And this weekend only, we've literally never done this before. We're doing double reward points. And I know that this works because I went and ordered a PDF off of our website today. So if you also would like to get double reward points, then order anything on our site. And as soon as that thing that you ordered actually ships to you, then those points will show up in your account and you can use them on all sorts of fun things. And also make sure you sign up with your birthday because you get a ton of points on your birthday as long as you sign up at least a month before. And then also just one last little note before we leave you for the rest of the weekend is that our next event is happening March 1st, in case you hadn't heard that yet. And it's going to be a special Renegade Con featuring all of the things coming out at Gen Con, all of our special Gen Con events. It's going to be on March 1st, and just the one stream with Scott and I should be super fun. So we'd really like to see you there. If you sign up for our newsletters, you won't miss it. And you can do that on our website. So please stick around. We have the Axis and Allies stream coming up right after this. And then we're going to be talking about Renegade Originals, including all of these great games like Robo Rally and Acquire and Diplomacy. All those will be included in that stream as well. That one starts at 5:30 Pacific time. We also have a live art event happening this evening at 6:30. And then all of our other live stream events happening tomorrow. Sign up on our website if you want reminders for any of those. You'll get calendar invites so you don't miss out, because we don't want to miss you for any of those. So
that's right.
Enjoy the weekend. We're so happy you're here. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you all. Thanks for all the good ideas, chat. I'm taking notes. So, all right.